Good evening. Welcome to the Kent City Council meeting for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. If you could all please rise and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Melissa, could you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Mayor Ralph.
Here.
Council President Gore.
Here.
Councilmember Boyce.
Here.
Councilmember Boyd.
Here.
Councilmember Fincher.
Here.
Councilmember Larmer.
Here.
Councilmember Michaud.
Here.
And Councilmember Troutner.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3 is agenda approval. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No staff changes, Your Honor.
Okay, hearing none, a motion would be in order to approve the agenda as published.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. That moves us right into item number 4, which is public communications. And we have some great things under this agenda item this evening. The first one is the presentation of our giving campaign donation to Children's Therapy Center. So our employees get together every year, hold an employee event, all kinds of fun things, games, costumes, food, and it really is a reason to come together to show this community how much our employees appreciate them and an opportunity to give back. This year, our employees chose to support Children's Therapy Center, and so our Kent Employee Charity Committee put together a great event, and we raised a lot of money. This is the best part of the evening because sitting right over there is one of those big checks, the really big checks, both in size and amount. I would like to invite up our Kent Employee Charity Committee, Carrie Endicott and the team, as well as Nichelle Brown and Carrington Branch from Children's Therapy Center for the presentation. Drum roll so we can see that
that is a big
giant check
check.
amount, right?
Yes. Wow.
That's real impressive.
That is
Yeah.
a pretty big check.
I was not exaggerating when I said that it was a big check.
This was our largest donation that we've made so far. So, yes, thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you to all the staff that participated and donated to this. This is really very exciting.
And I'm just going in.
Oh, here she is.
You're right on time. Are you in the picture? Would you like me to be?
Yes. Come on. Traffic, right?
Thank you. You're perfectly fine. Look here. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Good to have you.
Michelle, if you want to come over and join us at the podium, and Carrie or Tasia, come over and.
Say it again.
Would want to tell us a little bit about Children's Therapy Center and
Yes,
maybe
always. I'm always available for that. So yes, Children's Therapy Center, we started in 1979 with 4 amazing founders who all believed that Kent deserved to have families and children with developmental differences to have something in their community. So our first brick and mortar building is right on Kinkangley. Right up the hill, we have a 3-building campus up there, and now since 1979, we've been able to expand, and we now have 4 commercial properties. Obviously, the big one in Kinkangley and Kent, but we have a building in Berrien, a building in Tacoma, and a building in Maple Valley. We serve over 3,000 children a year. That's obviously more than the children in Kent, but knowing that we started in Kent, it's really important that we keep our roots here. That we make sure that the neighborhood and the communities know who we are. And so it is nothing but amazing and gracious for the City of Kent employees to continue to pour into Children's Therapy Center because we are almost 50 years old. And it means a lot to us. And remember that no child should be limited by their developmental delay. Instead, they all have abilities that are beautiful and amazing, and the community needs to hug around those abilities so that they can know that one, normalized education and normalized care is something that all children deserve, all families deserve, and we're here to navigate them through any and everything that matters in their life so their children can prosper and be great citizens of our amazing community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, very much.
the smaller check means so much more, but it is really fun to
That is the real
to,
check.
to have that big check.
Thank you very much.
So I would also like a big round of applause for our Kent Employee Charity Committee. The work that goes into putting these events together and rallying our employees is pretty phenomenal. We've moved the event to Shower Center in the last couple of years, and you can see, like I said, by the size of that check, the heart of our employees really does lie with supporting the community, and we're really grateful. So I just want to say thank you to the committee. All right. The next item on the agenda, Council, for your consideration under consent calendar is some appointments to the Arts Commission. So I would like to bring forward for your consideration 2 new appointments. We have Wendy Johnson and Suzanne Cameron that are new appointments, and then and for their would be the initial 4-year term. Then we've got several reappointments. So Carrie French, Ryan Olmsted, Countess Stekovic, Jennifer Treese, and Kelly Spritzer. I know that I'm seeing a few folks in the audience. Anybody that is being appointed or reappointed tonight, if you want to come up and say a few words, that would be great, or you can just raise your hand from the audience. See lots of hand raising. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the honor of serving, and we look forward to, I'm going to say we, because I talked to Suzanne, we look forward to serving on the Arts Commission so that we can advise the City Council on programs that enhance the artistic aesthetic and cultural quality of life in the city. So thank
Love
you.
that. Thank you. Yeah. I want to say thank you to our new members and to our members that are being reappointed tonight. The Arts Commission does amazing work here in the city, both in performing and visual arts, and it makes the city a better place. So you all know I've got a special spot in my heart as a former Arts Commissioner. So I'm really grateful for your willingness to serve and time and commitment. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for your willingness to serve, and thank you, Rhonda, for leading the group. Very, very grateful. Again, Council, those appointments are under the consent calendar for your confirmation. The next item we have is a proclamation, and joining us is Gayla. There we go. All right. Gayla Haas is the Executive Director of the Kent Downtown Partnership, and I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation and then have you tell us a little bit of information about Small Business Saturday. So the proclamation says, whereas the City of Kent celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, and whereas according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 32.5 million small businesses in the United States, and small businesses make up a significant portion of Kent's downtown core. And whereas over 95% of Kent's businesses have less than 100 employees, yet comprise 62% of our community's jobs. And whereas 2/3 of Kent businesses employ less than 10 people, and whereas consumers who shop on Small Business Saturday agree that shopping at a small, independently owned business supports their commitment to making purchases that have a positive social, economic, and environmental impact, and agree that small businesses are essential to their community. And whereas most consumers who shop on Small Business Saturday report the day makes them want to shop or eat at small, independently owned businesses all year long, not just during the holiday season. And whereas the City of Kent supports our local businesses to create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our community, and whereas advocacy groups as well as public and private organizations across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now therefore I, Dana Ralph, Mayor of Kent, do hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in the City of Kent, and urge the residents of our community to support the small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. I think it's really timely given what Council talked about at workshop tonight. I'm really grateful to have Gayla from Kent Downtown Partnership, and we're going to do a quick picture and then I'll have you say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for being here tonight. Thank you. Good to see you. Yeah.
I'll just say a couple of words. Because the proclamation actually really does cover it all, but thank you, Mayor and Council, for recognizing, excuse me, Shop Local Saturday and highlighting the vital role small businesses play in our community. When we shop small, we're supporting our neighbors, supporting local jobs, and investing in the unique character and vibrancy of our city. Kent Downtown Partnership has been a proud neighborhood champion for Small Business Saturday for many years now, and we do appreciate the support of not only our city, but all of the residents and community members when they shop small and come into our downtowns and shopping centers to help support all of our businesses, especially now as kind of tough times for a lot of our businesses. And so thank you for that, and thank everybody for considering small businesses when you're looking for your holiday and other shopping all year long. So Saturday is the 29th, kicks off our Shop Small. Saturday is the actual day. It's always the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And just a real quick note, it's also the day we launch our second annual Yeti scavenger hunt, where we hide little tiny Yetis throughout our downtown businesses and restaurants and it will run till December 31st. It's a fun, self-guided activity designed to bring people into our small businesses, complete a passport, and submit it to us, and you may be entered to win some prizes. So our businesses are excited to do that. The Yetis are super cute, and they're actually not as easy to find as people might think. So thank you again, and hope to see you on Shop Small Saturday and beyond.
Thank you, Gayla. All right, we are going to move on to community events. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you haven't been to SSO Showwear Center, you can purchase tickets at ssoshowearcenter.com. We have several ice hockey games happening on November 21st, Seattle T-Birds versus Victoria Royals, and November 22nd, that's the 22nd, November 21st, and then November 22nd, Seattle T-Birds versus Regina Pats. And November 26th is Seattle Thunderbirds versus Swift Current Broncos. And December 3rd is the 100.7, the Wolves Hometown Holiday. And December 13th is Tacoma Stars home opener, and the tickets are on sale now. And I don't know if you're going to mention, but December 6th is our Winterfest and tree lighting happening at Town Square Plaza. And I'm mentioning that because we will not have a council meeting before that. So that's back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On December 7th, 3 p.m., Kent Meridian High School, the 39th, blows me away that 39 years, the Bolden family will be back. That is the Magical Strings Celtic Christmas concert that is held every year for 39 years right here in Kent. It's one of the beloved events that the community has, and it's something for everyone. Whether it's your young child, there's going to be Irish dancing, and there's going to be a variety of different instruments. So think of all the instruments you would see with Celtic music, harps, and the different drums. All of that is going to be there. It's going to be audience participation. Kids have a chance to get up on stage, and it's just a good time. So the Bolden family brings it when they come. So that is it. Oh, and tickets are available. You can go online, kentwa.gov/spotlight series and find out more information.
All right. Thank you. Lots going on as we head into the holiday season. Next item on our agenda is Public Safety Report, and I'm going to go ahead and call up Chief Padilla.
Sorry for the delay, Mayor. You caught me typing. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. It's my pleasure to bring this month's Public Safety Report. There will be some meaty topics that I'll be covering here, but we're going to start off with some good stuff. And I'd like to call up Officer Jeff Hellenbeck, and we're going to introduce him and get him sworn in this evening. He's one of our newest officers. Come on forward. Yes, and then awkwardly turn your back to me. Okay, for TV purposes, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, this is Officer Jeff Hellenbeck. He was born in Walnut Creek, California, and when he was 8 years old, his family moved to Puyallup, Washington. He attended Emerald Ridge High School and graduated from Washington State University in 2008 with a degree in business administration. Prior to Kent, he spent 10 years at Boeing in a variety of different roles and is grateful for the opportunity and the experience he received while working there. Over time, he realized that there was still something missing in what he wanted to do, and that something was direct community service and working to protect the community, which is what led him to change tracks and pursue a career in law enforcement. When we asked him why he chose Kent PD, he said, "I knew some people who had worked at Kent PD in the past, and they informed me that this was a great agency to work for." So that's what got him here. And then the rest is based on his merits, we hired him. In terms of his family, he's been with his wife, Michelle, for a better part of a decade, and currently lives in Enumclaw with 3 kids, Brooke, who's 11, Tate, 5 years old, and Casey, who's 1 year old. While much of their time is taken up with their kids, activities like competitive gymnastics and soccer, in his spare time, he enjoys playing golf, hunting, riding his electric bike, and spending time with his friends and family. Something notable about him is that he is the first person in his direct family to be hired as a police officer. So, ladies and gentlemen, Officer Jeff Hellenbach. You have some family you want to introduce, your wife?
Yeah, the other three little ones, they couldn't make it tonight. Grandma's got them, but my wife, Michelle, is sitting right over there. She was kind enough to walk me through this year. It's a big sacrifice and a lot of support that came with that, especially with a career change in the law enforcement. So thank you so much.
Welcome. Mayor Ralph, will you please do the honors?
Let's make this official.
Okay.
If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Hellenbach,
I, Jeff Hellenbach,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the United States of America,
to the United States of America,
the state of Washington,
the state of Washington,
and the city of Kent,
and the city of Kent,
that I will uphold the Constitution and laws
that I will uphold the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and that I will obey the rules and regulations
and that I will obey the rules and regulations
of the Kent Police Department.
of the Kent Police Department.
Go back to the middle. Okay. Get a picture there.
I think Mrs.
One real quick for my mother-in-law, might not be very happy, yeah.
Can you lift it higher for my chin, please?
Oh, yeah. Perfect, y'all are perfect, great.
I appreciate it.
Sir?
Okay, next on tonight's report, I wanted to take a moment to talk about our flock safety cameras. There's been some media coverage of it as of late, and I want to answer some questions, provide information, and hopefully set this where we, so that the community feels comfortable knowing that we have these and we're operating them within the law. So with that, let's start with what they are. For those who may not know what flock cameras are, these are automatic license plate readers. We have them located in about 20 different locations in the city at major intersections, major roadways in the city. What they do is on a regular basis, they take photographs of the license plate and images of cars that pass by them. They do not, and I want to be really clear, do not take images of any passengers, including the driver, in the vehicle. That is prohibited by law. We get a license plate and we get an image. Those images are stored for 30 days, and if there is no need for them regarding a criminal matter, those images are deleted and they're gone, right? However, if they are related to a crime or an investigation, we retain those, use them for our investigation and prosecution, and they are subsequently retained within the laws, the retention laws of Washington State. And those can vary depending on what type of case it is. That's what they do. That's what we have them operating. What came out recently was a study from the University of Washington. They're on flock data from the Center of Human Rights. In that report, as you may have seen in some of the media coverage, they pointed out that several agencies in Washington state had inadvertently allowed access to their data to federal law enforcement agencies, specifically U.S. Border Patrol and ICE. While the report wasn't able to confirm how the data was used, it is presumed that that data was used for civil immigration purposes. So there's that. Thankfully, Kent was not one of the agencies listed as having shared data for civil immigration purposes. We were noted for sharing information with HSI, the Homeland Security Investigation, Homeland Security, and we checked and confirmed our data was used for the purpose of investigating a organized crime robbery group in the region, as well as someone we were looking at for a homicide case. So being used the right way for a right purpose, right, violent criminals. I do want the community to know that once we became aware of the vulnerabilities of our system and how through third-party access, our data could be used not consistently with state law, we acted quickly, we addressed the issues, and we reconfigured our system so that only Washington state law enforcement agencies can access our data. What's notable about that is every single agency in Washington is subject to the same law that prohibits sharing the data or rendering assistance to federal immigration authorities for civil immigration enforcement. So we're on it. We've also taken the further step, and I issued a direct order to all of our personnel that requires them that any time a federal law enforcement agency asks for assistance, asks for information or data, that request must be run by a commander, and that commander must review and approve each of those circumstances. Our commanders are very aware with what the law says. Our commanders have the authority and experience to make those judgment calls and ensure that we are acting in good faith with the law. So that's what's going on. Lastly, we are working with Flock, because this is a big deal to that corporation for Washington State, and they're working to develop additional safeguards in that regard. So why do we have them, right? Why do we have these cameras in the first place? If you were to ask me, and this was asked of me by a reporter recently, Chief, talk to us about crime reduction. Talk to us about why we've seen now a 2-year trend in significant reductions in our violent crimes, our property crimes, things of that nature. And why is that occurring? The number one thing I would point to is our staffing. Stabilizing our staffing was the first big major accomplishment. Having the women and men out there to do the job is the biggest factor. Right behind that is the way that we leverage our technology. And at the very top of our technology are these flock cameras, okay? Without these flock cameras, I will tell you dozens of crimes and hundreds of stolen cars and dozens of missing persons would not have been located. These crimes would not have been solved. So they are a big deal. So here is, I think sometimes it's really easy to say, in general terms, why do we need this? It's not that big a deal. But I wanted to provide you with some very specific examples of what this technology is doing for us. So in the last month, just the last month, we've had several stolen vehicle reports, most recently one where a camera alerted on a stolen vehicle. We were able to locate and stop the driver. We arrested him for stolen vehicle, possession of stolen vehicle, and for what we call VUFA, violation of the Uniform Firearms Act, which means they had an unlawful weapon in their car. We are pulling unlawful weapons out of these cars on a regular basis. If you can remember, it wasn't that long ago that Kent ranked in, unfortunately, very high nationally in terms of auto thefts that occurred per resident. That number has dropped significantly, and I will tell you it's because of the flock cameras. And good news for those of you that like to have your car in your possession, we are finding and returning stolen vehicles at a faster rate than we ever have. Missing persons. Just this last month, we located a missing person via the Flock technology through a silver alert that came through. And that is one of about a dozen people that we've located recently, including missing juveniles, silver alerts, and vulnerable adults that have come by. And then I'll talk a specific case about a homicide that we had. This is an example from one in 2024. There have been others, but this one I can talk about because the case has made it far along in the adjudication process. One of our detectives reviewed a hot list looking for leads related to a homicide that involved the death of an 18-year-old. In doing so, they located a vehicle description that matched, which was a Prius, and they were able to identify that that Prius was associated with a carjacking that had happened prior to the homicide. That lead led to some additional work, including putting the license plate for that car into the Flock system, which generated a lead that pointed us to a vehicle that was located up on our East Hill. Further investigation was completed. It ended up, we ended up locating the vehicle on video related to that area because the Flock camera pointed us to a location to start doing an investigation. Our detectives went to that area, canvassed for additional video, and we were able to find video that showed the suspect vehicle fleeing the shooting and placing the suspects at the location. Ultimately, that lead from the Flock hit on the camera led to the arrest of 2 people who were charged with murder 1, robbery 1, and conspiracy to commit murder. We would not have had a direction to start in that investigation without that Flock hit. That's how important this is. In closing on the Flock issue, I really want to say that no one values your privacy and your privacy rights more than the Kent Police Department. The law dictates that we ensure we are not invading people's rights. So if you aren't aware, anytime that you are out in public, on a main roadway, at a park, things of that nature where anyone can see what you're doing, there's not an expectation of privacy. And as you know, anyone can pick up their video on their phone and start recording anything that they see in public view. These Flock cameras act in the same way, right? The difference is we can only use the information and data on these cameras for our criminal investigations, and that's it. So we value your privacy, we respect your privacy, we do everything we can to protect that. So with that, I'll open it up. Mayor, any questions on our Flock cameras?
Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple questions. In the South King County area, who else besides Kent are using the Flock camera?
There's several. Most of the Valley agencies like Tukwila, Renton, Auburn, I believe Federal Way, and Des Moines have these cameras. Statewide, there are dozens of agencies that have them, and nationally, there are thousands of agencies that have them.
Then my other question, just kind of break it down a lower level. So if you go through one of these cameras and you got a stolen vehicle, do it register somewhere where you guys read and say this vehicle been stolen or whatever, and just trying to understand how that process works?
That's a great question. When a stolen vehicle that's listed as stolen in the crime databases goes by one of these cameras, it sends an alert to a nearby officer. They literally get it on their iPhone. They get an image of the vehicle and they get a location and timestamp, which allows them to start going to the area and looking for the vehicle. A lot of times we are able to locate the vehicle and follow it safely and pick our terms when we're going to pull the vehicle over because we know about the stolen vehicle before most of the offenders realize that we should know. And we're talking hundreds of cars. I'm not exaggerating. Great question.
Thank you.
Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Chief, thank you for this presentation. I think that these cameras are incredibly valuable, as you've demonstrated. My question is, when other agencies besides federal agencies request the information, do we have to approve that, or is there some way for them to access it without going through us?
So, great question as well. The way that the system was configured prior to us learning about the vulnerabilities was that we would allow permission. So an agency from Oregon would say, we would like to share our data with you. We would assign, basically approve that through the system, and they would be able to query the data we had in our system. That has now been cut off. We turned off both the national lookup process, and there was a button for allowing federal agencies to look data up. We've turned that off. You bring up a really good point, though, that I kind of skipped over. It is still really important. We've worked really hard over the years to build interoperability and cooperation at a local level, at a state level, and a federal level. The value in that is clear and immediate to everyone in this room and everybody that lives in our community. The federal law enforcement agencies continue to investigate the highest level of crimes. So we're talking terrorists, we're talking organized crime, drug trafficking cartels. And we have an obligation, and it's my top priority, to do what we can to remove violent offenders. And so there are times when it's very important for us to share that information. It's just not going to be automatic anymore. A human being will have to screen, a commander will have to screen that request and make sure it's legit.
Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Chief, for this presentation. Kind of a question related to what Councilor Michaud has asked, but going backwards, do we have logs or in a way we can figure out if our data has been accessed in the past?
So yes and no. So the system has the ability to do audits. The way that we configured our system initially, because we weren't going to just allow anyone in the nation to look at our data, was we didn't set up the national audit for this. We only set up our internal audit, not an external audit process. So we can see what we were able to disseminate and share. So in full transparency, because we didn't do the other part of the system, there is a potential that a third-party organization, say like an organization in Oregon, shared it with an organization in California, and we would have no idea, which is why we've shut it down. We shut that vulnerability down.
Thank you.
All right, Chief, that looks like the last question.
Okay, and we will move ahead. I am going to close with some good news, if that's all right with everybody. A little heavy topic there. I want to put in a plug for our annual Shop with a Cop event that's coming up here on December 13th. Mayor Ralph and others, you've been one of the founding people to make this great annual event go. And so I want to ring the bell, no pun intended, on that it's coming up. And what it is, for those that have not been aware of this program before, every year we partner with the Kent Youth and Family Services organization. They help us identify underprivileged kids in the community who, quite frankly, would not have anything, any gifts or anything during the holiday season, and they connect them with us. We use funds that are donations that come in from the community and to fund this, and we pair up, as you can see in the pictures there, members of our youth from our community, and we go out and we shop with them, and we basically try to spoil them for one day. While this is intended to give them gifts and make them feel appreciated, many times, and Mayor, I know you've seen this, these young men and women will turn around and they'll buy stuff for their moms and their brothers and sisters, and they'll want to spend the money on anything but them. We don't allow that to happen. We make sure that they get some gifts as well. But this is really, this is one of my favorite events that we do. And the connection that we have generationally with the kids in our community, and they get a chance to see people in this uniform in a much different light than they normally would under other circumstances, is just great. This is how you build community trust. This is how you form real relationships. So very proud of this and excited that it's coming up. With that, if you notice on the slide there, it says kyfs.org. I am strongly encouraging anyone that would like to assist us by going to that website and making a donation. They take donations for a multitude of programs. Kent Youth and Family Services for decades has provided a lot of things to our community, mental health counseling, family, after-school care, early learning programs. So you'll want to note specifically that you're making your donation for the Shop with a Cop program. And that way the money will go to assist with this. So with that, Mayor, that completes my report, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Chief. I just want to follow up. The program is 100% funded by the community through donations. So want to put in a second and third and fourth request if you are so inclined to donate so that we can take more kids shopping. The need in our community is great. KYFS does a fantastic job of making sure that we're connecting with the families that are really in need and organizing that. And all donations are accepted and we're very, very grateful for them. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Council, any questions for the chief? All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are going to move on. The next item on the agenda is reports. So each one of your council members sitting up here not only represents the community at our council meetings the first and third Tuesdays of the month, but they also serve on regional and statewide committees, making sure that the voice of Kent, of our community, is being heard in all of the conversations from policy to funding. Very, very grateful for that involvement. So I'm going to start out the reports tonight with something a little bit different. Next Tuesday at the King County Council meeting, we will be, the council will be swearing in a new county executive as well as a new representative for District 5, which is the county council district that represents Kent. Both of those positions were elected in the last election, but they are filling vacancies. So the King County executive resigned his term early to move on to a different position, as did our King County council member, Dave Upthegrove. So I want to say thank you to council member Deshaun Quinn, who has served in that role in the interim, but it does mean that our representatives at that District 5 level, as well as the executive, will be taking those that oath of office earlier than the typical January 1st. I want to say thank you to our chief. We received a call from our new county executive's transition team wanting to have representation for South King County on that transition team as they're putting policy into place, and asked if Chief Padilla would serve as a member of that group. And I am very grateful to have his voice in that conversation as our new executive takes office, and making sure that we're really clear in the things that Kent and South King County need when it comes to that role. So again, thank you to Chief Padilla, and looking forward to working with both Councilmember-elect Stephanie Fain and County Executive-elect Gurmai Zahalai. I have several meetings this week that are coming up. SKIP is meeting at the end of the week, South King County Housing and Homelessness Partnership, and we'll be starting the presentations on our Housing Capital Fund. So, Council, as you know, you've chosen to dedicate funding towards that that item, and we will be looking at funding projects for affordable housing, both preservation and new construction in South King County, and have a presentation for you at your meeting in December. And I also have the Sound Cities Association board meeting tomorrow. The deadline has passed, but my hope is that all of you got your applications in for committees to serve next year, and that nominating committee will be going through and notifying everyone about their committee appointments for next year. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Administrative Officer, Pat Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have two quick updates. First one is I have started meeting with other chief admin officers and city managers throughout the state. Our effort is to try to align our legislative interests where we can. So you all passed your legislative agendas, and I can tell you that ours looks very, very similar to a number of cities. Things we're focused on are public safety issues, land use issues, and the ever-present unfunded mandates. So those are kind of the three hot spots that we can all very easily, not all, but most of us can very easily align on. And the goal is to try to create and push forward the same message on a kind of a unified front. So I just want to let you know that that's happening in support of your legislative agenda that you passed. Second thing is you'll be getting an email very, very soon about scheduling a council retreat for likely either February 27th or March 6th, something in that time frame on a Friday. So look for an email from Angelina, and we'll get that scheduled, and we'll start working on the agenda for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And in keeping in that legislative updates, we do have meetings set up with most of our legislative delegation for the first week in December. So we'll be sharing the legislative agenda that you all passed with our legislators before they head into session. So that is coming up in just about a week and a half. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Earlier tonight, we had our council workshop. We had 2 presentations, really cool presentations. I would encourage our community to go watch them on our Facebook or on Kent TV 21. We had a presentation on Rediscover Downtown Plan and our citywide GIS update. I also sit on Growth Management Policy Board with Puget Sound Regional Council. We had our meeting a week and a half ago, and I'll have that update in our council newsletter. I serve on King County Growth Management Policy Planning Council. We're meeting tomorrow. I'm mixing the 2 boards up. And I serve as the chair for Puget Sound Clean Air Agency Advisory Council, and we'll be meeting on Thursday, so I'll have those updates at the next council meeting. And I just want to share again that we do have a council newsletter that comes out tomorrow afternoon. So if you haven't subscribed, you can go on our website and subscribe to council newsletter. And all of my colleagues here will be sharing their updates and events they attend throughout the 2 weeks. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with Councilmember Troutner over there.
Thank you, Council President. I am chair of the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority Governance Board. We met earlier this month, so we will not be meeting tomorrow. But I am also on the Regional Transit Committee, and we meet tomorrow afternoon. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam President. My updates are in the newsletter, but also I want to thank the police command staff and detectives and other police staff who served 180 seniors at the senior center. They served them a hot Thanksgiving lunch, and it was very much appreciated and well received. So I just want to thank them for that.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Larmer, please.
Thank you, Council President. I serve on the King County Aging and Disabilities Advisory Council, and we met last Friday. We had a presentation from Healthier Here, which is a services hub for community-based care. They provide non-clinical referral care for food needs, employment training, housing, and transportation needs. It is a Medicaid-funded, it's more of an internal it's not public-facing, it's more of an internal referral network. But what was interesting about the conversation is as they were going through and giving us an overview of their services, they showed charts that showed that the most need was in the South King County community, and actually the #1 needs were in Kent. And so it sparked a conversation, and I think we all here are aware how sometimes on these committees they live in a bubble, and there's a lot of questions about like why are the needs so much higher? Why that community and not Seattle? And so it's just a reminder of why we're at those tables, to be there to represent those non-Seattle voices. So, and that is it.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Boyce.
Thank you, Madam President. The only meeting I had is since the last time I met was PIC, which is the Public Issues Committee, which is part of Sound City Association. Something that Pat talked about, really, we approve the 2026 state and county legislatures, which consists of the funding for the defense service, support local housing, and also they have fund for local and support transportation priorities. We also talked about, there's a lot of vendors with the vehicles that kind of pop up everywhere and anywhere in the King County area. So they're going to be looking at those because some of them not licensed, so they're just popping out. So we talked about that. And then also from the election results, there's a lot of changes in the election results. That's why we had so many positions open up within the SCA. So there still may be some other positions open up. And then also on December 3rd, from 5:30 to 8:30, we're having our, I guess, called it year-end party, I guess you call it, Sound City Association. And I will be attending that. And that's at the Pickering Barn in Issaquah. So that's, once again, December 3rd, 5:30 to 8:30. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Boyd.
Yes, I want to first start off by talking about the Sound Transit one-line extension. The grand opening will be December the 6th, 2025, and where it'll start after the ribbon cutting. It will begin at 9:30 a.m. and it'll start at Federal Way, downtown Seattle, the Seattle Station at 23rd Avenue, South Federal Way, and then it will continue down into Star Lake, which would be at 3 p.m., and that would be called the Project Feast. And then it'll carry on into the Kent Des Moines station from 11 to 3 p.m. So if you want to see where a lot of your taxpayer money has been going and you want to get a free ride, come on down. Also, I sit on the local hazardous waste management program, and this morning we actually talked about the Hazardous Waste Management Modernization Act, also known as EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. We spoke about some of our initial work that was started back in 2021 and led to 2023. There was a long discussion on how we were going to include everybody into the program, because right now we got some areas that are not familiar with what we collect and how we collect it and then how they're being billed and taxed. And also we talked about a proposal, which would like our current EPR programs, if we collect mercury lights and batteries and other things that are contain hazardous waste. But for remaining hazardous waste product streams, we want to shift the cost from the public to the producer. And we also want to reimburse local governments for collections and processing costs that would offset hazardous waste costs, which would potentially be $10 million a year in King County expansion. And we also want to expand hazardous waste collection statewide, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Fincher.
Thank you. My report is, all my information is in the report, but I do want to see we have a couple of our hopefully soon to be arts commissioners here. I wanted to thank them for stepping up, as everybody who serves on any of our commissions, committees, and boards. They're open, most seats. You need to live in Kent, but there's a few. You don't have to live in the city. It does a great service for the city. It's an easy but very valuable way to serve. I encourage people to check out the boards and commissions, and again, information's in my report.
Thank you, Councilmember. With that, back to you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Item number 6 on our agenda is the public hearing. We do not have one this evening. Item number 7 is public comment. But before we open it up to folks that have signed in, I see that we've got quite a few students in the audience. I want to just give you an opportunity, not forced. If you'd like to come up and introduce yourselves, tell us what school you're from and why you're here. We would love to hear from you. Do we have any volunteers? I promise it's painless and the group is really friendly. Come on up to the, any and all, just come up to the podium and.
Hello, my name is Skylar Wright, and I currently attend Kentwood High School, and there are a couple of my fellow students here, and I just wanted to mention to the council members and other people who are part of the I guess people sitting here, we are looking for interviews afterwards. If any of you want to do that, they shouldn't take very long. They're only a couple minutes, 1 or 2 questions. Just we're here doing it for a school project, and we're going to be presenting it to other people. And the project is on civil engagement and why you do it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Kentwood. Yep. All right. I am sure that you will absolutely have some volunteers after the meeting. So thank you very much. With that, we are going to go ahead and open public comment. Melissa, do we have anyone signed up?
We do. We have one person, and it's Stephanie Vedvik.
Okay, Stephanie, as you are making your way up here, I'm just going to let you know, public comment period is an opportunity to speak to the council and mayor on issues that relate to the city of Kent or agenda items the council will consider. This is not an open public forum, and comments that do not relate to the business of the city of Kent are not permitted. We do have a 3-minute time limit that will go up on the screen, and if you could state your name and city of residence for the record.
My name is Stephanie Vedvik, and I live in Kent.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mayor Ralph and council members. I'm part of a small group of bird watchers and wildlife photographers who regularly observe the osprey nest at the Art Wright baseball field. The osprey pair has been nesting there for over 10 years, and during that time, they've become a meaningful part of our community. People stop on their walks to watch them. Children ask questions, and many residents look forward to seeing them return each spring. These birds quietly bring joy, comfort, and a sense of connection to many people in our city. I understand that the nest will be removed by the Parks Department due to safety concerns, and I appreciate the importance of keeping the public safe. At the same time, I want to advocate for a thoughtful solution that supports both safety and wildlife stewardship. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife strongly recommends installing a replacement nesting platform whenever an acting osprey nest must be removed. Providing an alternate structure gives the birds a safe place to rebuild and greatly increases the likelihood that they will continue to nest in the same area rather than relocate. My request tonight is simple. Please ensure that a replacement nesting platform is installed at or near the current site, and that the existing nest materials are placed on or near the platform so that the osprey can rebuild easily. It would be a great loss for the community to see them leave. Installing a platform is a reasonable, effective, and recommended solution that honors both public safety and the wildlife that enriches our city. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to preserving the natural spaces and species that make our community special. So, thank you.
Thank you. I will make sure that this request makes it to the Parks Department. Thank you.
That was it.
All right. That brings us to the end of public comment. Item number 8 on our agenda is the consent calendar. The consent calendar is a compilation of items that the council has considered and had conversation around at both council workshop and committee of the whole. These items have passed out of committee of the whole without controversy. Tonight we have items A through L for approval. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 9 under other business is the ordinance adopting the 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustments, and Paula Painter, our finance director, will be providing the presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Mayor Ralph, members of City Council, Council President. Happy to be here and wrap up this 2026 mid-biennium budget adjustment. And I want to start off by first saying thank you to the Council for your engagement through this entire process. I have appreciated our discussions over the last couple of months as we talked about what was in this budget adjustment. And so if you recall, back in December of 2024, we approved the 2025-26 biennial budget. And now this is our opportunity with this mid-biennial budget adjustment to actually take a look at our revenues and expenditures and realign them based on the trends that we're currently seeing. And then also some other known items that we didn't necessarily know back in 2024 when this was adopted, things that would be impacting salaries and benefits, some contractual agreements that we have, and cost allocations. But overall, the 2026 budget totals $442.6 million. That's an increase of just under $11 million, or about 2.5% over the adopted budget. Of the $442.6 million budget, $132.2 million is within our general fund. During this budget process, there were 16 positions added to the budget, 11 of which had to do with the new sales tax of 0.1% to support criminal justice, and 11 positions were added at that time. There was one position that was added that's a temporary limited term position, and then there were 3 positions that were added for our facilities department, as we have we'll be opening up the Kent East Hill Operations Center, and so be able to properly support that facility. Those positions were added, and then 1 for our Riverbend Golf Complex. So in front of you today, we have ordinance number 4528 for your consideration. And at this point in time, I'd be happy to take any questions that you have.
All right, Council, any questions for Paula? I am not seeing any. With that, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4528, approving the 2026 mid-biennial budget modifications.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Paula. Item number 10 this evening is bids. We do have two bids from Public Works. The first one is Blue Boy Reservoir Vent Replacement Project, and joining us is our Public Works Director, Chad Beeren.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Two quick bids tonight. First is the Blue Boy Reservoir Vent Replacement. As shown in the picture here, we have some work to do on the vent. All of our reservoirs are vented, so as the water goes up and down, the air pressure inside can equalize. We needed to do a replacement of the vent to meet updated Department of Health requirements. So just a little bit of work at the top, along with some painting to cover that up. We got 4 bids. Low bid was from T. Bailey for $77,000 and some change, and then the engineer's estimate was right at $79,000. So good bid on this one. Recommend award.
All right. Any questions on this bid? Okay, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor, I move to award the Blue Boy Reservoir Vent Replacement Project to T. Bailey LLC in the amount of $77,140 and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and public works director.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Chad, I don't know if you mentioned it, but just for the public, location of Blue Boy?
Off 112th Avenue north of 240th.
Thank you. The name is not very identifying.
Blue Boy.
That's
that way.
The next item we have this evening is 83rd Avenue South and 132nd Avenue Southeast sidewalk improvements.
Excited to be adding some more sidewalks in town. First area is on 83rd Avenue South. This is just east of East Valley Highway at 224th. So we're doing all that work going up the hill to connect the new 228, 224th corridor between Military Road and Benson. There's a section down in the valley where we have missing sidewalks. So this area, again, there's a Starbucks, people might, right, working correctly, right there, that folks might go to every once in a while at 84th and 224th. The sidewalk is just around the back side, opposite side of the street from the Starbucks. And then some improvements going into, there's modern machinery and the Comfort Inn, if I remember correctly, the branding of that hotel across the street. So we've got that project at 83rd. And then on 132nd, this is north is to the right here. This is connecting the sidewalk just coming off the Birch Creek Apartments down to 278th. And one more slide. This is south of the Safeway at 132nd Kent Kangley, so south end of 132nd. Excited to be adding this section. This is part of the ongoing improvements along 132nd to provide non-motorized, principally a pathway, folks to walk along 132nd. So this will get us from, and it's getting to be a long stretch now, so this picture is a little bit small, but the very north end of this figure is Sunrise Elementary, and we've had projects in 2017 and 2018 that got us from 240th down to 272nd, or actually just south of Safeway. We added last year, the TIB helped us with a grant to complete the section north of 240th to Sunrise Elementary, and then another TIB grant. The first two are also TIB grants. So TIB's been on all 4 of these, the Washington State Transportation Improvement Board, helping us complete these sidewalks all the way from 278th up past 223rd. So a good chunk of the east spine of 132nd, or east spine of the city on 132nd is going to have sidewalk on it. So excited to have this project going along. We're also going to start on 278th with a small section of concrete paving along there. We've talked about in the past, that road's in pretty rough shape. A lot of that, it's a metro bus route. The buses are very heavy and they do a lot of damage to the pavement. We improved part of that, going on about 15 years ago, with what's called deep soil mixing, where you put cement in the subgrade and the dirt underneath the pavement, which has helped part of it last a fairly long time, but a lot of the rest of that neighborhood is crumbling. We're going to start this section with concrete, see how it holds up, and then we think we may try and march our way through the neighborhood with concrete pavement. So that's part of this bid, right at the corner of 278th and 132nd. So 4 bids received on this one as well. The low bid was from Active Construction for just over $1.3 million, and we had an engineer's estimate of $1.4 million. So another good set of bids on this project. And again, TIB funding for right about half of the cost. So excited to have them along as a partner again.
All right. Thank you, Chad. Council, any questions? Councilmember Michaud.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for this presentation, Chad. The 278th section, that's going to include some drainage improvement as well, right?
Yes, there's a new crossing of 132nd to help. There's a little bit of a ponding issue right there, which should be able to take care of that. And there's also a rectangular rapid flashing beacon crossing of the road there because we have Metro bus stops on both sides of the road. So folks can get across the road there a little bit easier than they can now.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor, I move to award the 83rd Avenue South and 132nd Avenue Southeast Sidewalk Improvements Project to Active Construction, Inc. in the amount of $1,302,090.80 and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and public works director.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Chad. I do think it's important to note the amount of work that has been done along this stretch. This is something that we have heard from the community for a long time about the need for better conditions for walking along 132nd, and that is really significant progress over the years, and a large amount of grant funding has gone into that. So it's something worth celebrating for sure. All right, we do not have an executive session this evening, so that brings us to the bottom of the agenda. Just a couple of things. I want to remind everyone that in December, council will only have one meeting. It is on the 9th, so it is on the second Tuesday of the month. That is by ordinance, so it's a regular meeting, but it is that second Tuesday. Also want to tell everyone to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and remember, shop small Saturday. With that, we are adjourned. And then